Anxiety at 50 isn't the same as anxiety at 20. It's deeper. It's more ingrained. Many years of experience have taught you that life isn't always fair, time is limited, and some doors can't be opened again once they're shut. Simply realizing that can be scary. Unfortunately, 50 is not the start of the end. This is the start of something new. And if you can learn to let go of the things that are weighting you down, you'll see that the second half of your life can be the most peaceful and satisfying. Here are 10 lessons that will help you live a clear life and get rid of your worry. Lesson number 1. Stop fighting time. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could die today. Take that into account when you speak and think." It dawns on 50 that time is limited. The years behind you and the uncertain years ahead weigh on you. Just this notion might anchor your mind in anxiety. Look back and question if you did enough, made the right decisions, and used your time properly. Looking ahead, you wonder how much time is left and worry about the future. The truth is that time doesn't cause anxiety. You're resisting. Only if you let it does time worry you. Seneca, a prominent Stoic, said, "You act like mortals in all that you fear and like immortals in all that you desire." Time seems boundless when we pursue pleasure, but panic when we realize it's finite. Paradox causes unnecessary misery. Lifelong anxiety is an illusion since it pits your mind against something unfightable. The past is untouchable. The future is uncontrollable. You own only the present. Unfortunately, many people spend their time regretting the past or fearing the future, never completely connecting with the present. Regret is a major weight at 50. Memories of blunders, missing opportunities, and what could have been done differently replay. Looking back, it's easy to feel like one bad decision defined you and placed your life on a lower course. Stoics saw things differently. Everything that transpired was for your betterment, they believed. Marcus Aurelius always reminded himself that life was natural, even the unpleasant events. If you linger on what's unchangeable, regret gets stronger. See past mistakes as lessons, not failures. Good things happen when you go from 20 or 30. Every choice, good or poor, got you here. Nothing matters more than how you spend your time. Another side of 50-year-old anxiety is future fear. Health-wise, what occurs? Do you have enough money? Is life meaningful as we age? Even though these questions can be daunting, Stoics knew that fear of the unknown wastes energy. Epictetus emphasized that trying to regulate out of your control causes worry. He remarked, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they do." Without giving up on shaping your life, this implies realizing that no amount of fretting will change the future. Get mentally and physically ready for the future instead of trying to predict or control it. Worrying about the future is borrowing unborn pain. Your life shows that many of your fears never happened. You managed issues, adapted, survived, and moved forward. This proves that fear is a lousy guide and that worrying about the future steals your tranquility. Stop fighting time, embrace the now. Only when you're not present does time seem to escape. Every moment wasted overthinking the past or worrying the future steals from today. Use your time purposefully to reduce time anxiety. Life should be measured in moments, not years. Would you fret over how many days you have left if today was your last? Will you truly appreciate every contact, thought, and experience? Not living in the time you have is the greatest loss. The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today, stated Seneca. To eliminate anxiety, quit waiting for life to start. Already done, only the now matters. Lesson number 2. Your body is the foundation of your mind. The words of Seneca, "A sound mind in a sound body, you should pray for that," were a warning. Although it is impossible to deny the link that exists between the mind and the body, many people continue to treat them as two distinct entities. At the age of 50, you have probably already experienced the negative effects of neglecting your physical health, such as poor energy, restless sleep, and chronic aches. It is possible that you are not aware of the fact that these physical challenges are not only having an effect on your body, but they are also contributing to your anxiety. In times of physical weakness, the mind tends to become disorganized. When the intellect is not given adequate attention, the body becomes agitated. Living in a body that is depleted, inflamed, and overstressed makes it hard to obtain actual serenity. This is because true peace cannot be achieved. It's not simply a mental phenomenon. Anxiety is a physiologic one as well. If you don't get enough sleep, your brain's capacity to control emotions will be disrupted, which will make you more emotional and irritable. Having a bad diet can cause spikes and dips in blood sugar, which are similar to the symptoms of panic attacks. Your resilience will be diminished if you have a sedentary lifestyle, which will cause even minor pressures to feel overwhelming. If you have ever woken up after a night of poor sleep and felt cognitively off for the entire day, or if you have ever eaten junk food and then felt lethargic and unmotivated thereafter, you have already experienced the direct influence that your body has on your mind. The Stoics had a good understanding of this. Because they felt that mental and physical discipline are linked, they believed that physical discipline was equally as vital as mental discipline. You should begin by calming your body if you wish to also relax your mind. To begin, make sleep a need. When your brain is operating at a level of tiredness, it is impossible to think coherently. In spite of the fact that Marcus Aurelius had a hard time getting out of bed, he was aware that sleep was essential for leading a disciplined life. Establish a schedule that enables you to get rest that is both deep and restorative. You should turn off all electronic devices before going to bed. Make sure your bedroom is cool and dark, and give yourself enough time to properly recuperate each night. The second step is to provide yourself with genuine food. You should not allow your diet to be a cause of worry. Rather, it should be a tool for achieving mental clarity. Steer clear of foods that are high in processed sugar, as well as anything else that can cause your energy levels to fluctuate wildly. Consume foods that are beneficial to brain function, such as those that contain healthy fats, protein, and micronutrients that help you relax. Third, make everyday motions. To be constant is all that is required. It is not necessary for it to be severe. Any movement that keeps your body engaged, such as walking, strength training, or stretching, will also maintain your mind sharp enough to function properly. As a means of developing resilience, the Stoics advocated for the voluntary experience of discomfort. Physical challenge is not only about maintaining a healthy body, it is also about developing the mental toughness that is necessary to deal with the challenges that life presents. One must have a robust body in order to have a calm and collected mind. In situations when your body is well rested, well nourished, and well conditioned, anxiety is less likely to keep hold of you. Your thoughts are more distinct. You respond in a more logical manner. The way you conduct yourself exudes self-assurance. The fight against anxiety is not conducted solely in the mind. Rather, it is fought in the decisions that you make for your body on a daily basis. Lesson number 3. Detach from outcomes. Don't try to make things happen the way you want them to, Epictetus said. Wish them to happen the way they do. These words go against what most people do with their lives. You know how random life can be by the time you're 50. You've had goals change, plans fall through, and expectations not be met. Still, the urge to control what happens stays. The need to be sure that everything will go just the way you want it to is what makes anxiety grow. That's not how life works, though. You can't be sure of a certain outcome, no matter how much you plan, worry, or think about it. This is where the pain starts. You depend on things you can't change for your peace of mind. You think that you can only be happy if certain things happen, like getting a raise, having a relationship, being financially stable, and being noticed. When those things don't go as planned, though, worry takes over. You feel angry, scared, and unable to control yourself. Reality weighs on you more the more you try to avoid it. The Stoics had a deep understanding of this. That doesn't mean they didn't do anything or avoid taking blame. Instead, they stopped caring about what would happen and only thought about what they could change: their work, their character, and their way of thinking. It was Marcus Aurelius who said, "You have power over your mind, not over outside events." Know this, and you will be strong. Apathy is not the same thing as detachment. It doesn't mean giving up on your plans or not caring about what's going on in the world. It means changing the way you look at things. You don't worry too much about results. Instead, you concentrate on things you can manage. You just do your best and leave the rest up to God. You can't force your business to be successful, but you can control how hard you work and what choices you make. You can't control how the other person feels in a relationship, but you can control what you do and how honest you are. People who want to get healthier can't expect results right away, but they can change what they eat and how they move. This change in how you think changes everything. You can't be anxious when you don't tie your peace to a result and instead find it in the process. You've seen that life is uncertain by the time you're 50. When you plan something, it almost never goes as planned. Changes you didn't expect may have brought you some of the best things in life. Also, things you thought you wanted probably caused some of your worst problems. If you want to be at peace, you don't need to know everything. Resilience is important. Whatever happens, you need to be able to adjust, accept, and keep going. Being free means not caring about how things turn out. Your fight against reality needs to end. Your happiness is no longer dependent on other things. When you know that you can't control the future and that you can handle whatever it brings, you learn to accept life as it is. Lesson number 4. Cut out toxic people. Seneca said, "Be around people who will make you better." You know that not everyone has your best interests at heart by the time you're 50. You feel drained in some situations. Certain talks can make you feel stressed, angry, or worn out. The hard truth is that anxiety doesn't just live in your head. It grows in the places you spend time. Also, the people you let into your life have a big impact on whether they make you stressed or calm. Toxic people come in many shapes and sizes. Some people are always negative and complain and criticize everything they say. Some people use guilt to get what they want or take more than they give. Some people love drama and will always try to get you into fights that aren't required. Then there are people who say they back you, but really hurt you in a way that makes you doubt yourself and your worth. These people hurt your peace of mind over time, and you don't always notice right away. They make stress that stays around for a long time after they leave. They make you feel stressed, angry, and unsure of yourself all the time. You don't have time for people who trouble your peace at this point in your life. Look at the people you're close to. Who helps you stand up? Who wears you down? Who makes you feel calm? Who makes you feel anxious? More important than history, duty, or guilt are the answers to these questions. It's not selfish to leave people who are making you feel bad. It's important. Seneca was right when he said, "We suffer more often in our dreams than in real life." A lot of the time, the people we let too close make our pain worse. Getting rid of poisonous people doesn't mean leaving in a big way or holding on to anger. Being aware that some relationships are over is what it means. It means setting limits on your relationships and putting your own health first. You shouldn't give your time and energy to everyone. Surround yourself with people who make your life better. People who help you grow, who push you in a good way, and who bring calm instead of chaos. More and more you understand that peace is not something you find, it's something you keep. And getting rid of the people who cause your worry is sometimes the best way to get rid of it. Lesson number 5. Simplify everything. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Do less if you want peace." It seems like simplicity is hard to find these days. At age 50, you probably have a lot of tasks, things that keep you from focusing. Your plans are full, your house is full of things that don't serve you anymore, and your mind is always jumping from one work to the next. The stress inside is made worse by all the chaos going on outside. You feel more and more stressed out as you try to do more, and it gets harder to find peace the more stressed you are. But here's the thing. Worry loves mess. Your worry level goes up as your life gets more complicated. The constant little things, the emails you haven't answered, the meetings you've forgotten, and the things you keep meaning to do but never get around to, are often what cause the most stress. Over time, these small things that stress you out add up and make it hard to focus on what's important. Get rid of the extra stuff. First, get rid of as much stuff as you can in your place. Take a look around you. How many things are just taking up space? How much mental energy do you lose on things that don't need to be managed? Getting rid of clutter is a quick way to make things calmer. A neat and clean place helps you think clearly and feel calm. But simplifying isn't just cleaning up your space. It also means getting rid of unnecessary things in your life. Think about what you've promised to do. How many of them are really important? How many of them are just habits or duties you keep up because you think you should? The Stoics thought that focusing was important and knew that you couldn't give your all to everything. If you say yes to too many things, you won't have time to say yes to the important things. Learn to say no to things that take up too much of your time, energy, or attention. Put the things and people that make your life worthwhile at the top of your list. Giving up what you love doesn't mean you have to live a simpler life. It just means getting rid of the things that aren't important and keep you from focusing on what does. You can clear your mind when you cut down on your responsibilities and get rid of the junk. You pay more attention, are more present, and feel less stressed. And your mind feels better as your life gets easier. The things that bring you peace and meaning will stand out more when you keep things simple. Lesson number 6. Learn to say no. The ancient Greek philosopher Epictetus once stated, "If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." At the age of 50, you have probably come to the conclusion that life is too short to focus on the acceptance or expectations of other people. It is still a common occurrence for many people to answer yes when they ought to be responding with no. How come? As a result of feelings of shame or obligation, or having a profound fear of disappointing other people. In the process of trying to please other people, it is simple to get into the trap of thinking that if you say yes, it will either maintain your connections or earn you acceptance. However, here is the reality. Every time you say yes to anything that is pointless, you are saying no to your own tranquility and well-being. One of the most powerful forces in life is the dread of being judged, particularly as one gets older. Being liked, being perceived as competent, and being generous are all things that we all want. The constant bending over backwards to satisfy the requirements of other people, however, comes at a price. The more you agree to things that aren't really beneficial to you, the more you reduce the amount of energy and peace you have in your life. This, in turn, causes feelings of tension, overwhelm, and anxiety. During the middle years of your life, one of the most empowering talents you can acquire is the ability to say no. When it comes to protecting your mental health, setting boundaries is really necessary. Establishing boundaries is not an act of selfishness. Rather, it is essential for safeguarding your time, your energy, and your overall well-being. In the event that anything does not correspond with your values or does not make a good contribution to your life, it is acceptable to decline the offer. When it comes to attending every event, taking on every task, and fulfilling every request, you are not required to do any of these things. No is a method of expressing yes to what really counts, such as your peace of mind, your health, and the things that are most important to you. Epictetus serves as a reminder that in order to progress, it is frequently necessary to separate oneself from the acceptance of others. It is quite acceptable for people to not always understand or respect the boundaries you set for yourself. There is no requirement for you to justify or explain every decision that you make. To walk away from something that does not correspond with your best interests or your principles is a perfectly acceptable course of action. Saying no does not make you a fool or a selfish person. Rather, it demonstrates that you are wise and respect yourself. The more you engage in this practice, the less anxious you will feel, since you will have reclaimed control over your life and your time. As soon as you do this, you will no longer be a slave to the expectations of others and will begin to live in accordance with your authentic self. Lesson number 7. Stop overthinking the future. As Seneca said, we suffer more in our minds than in real life. The mind has a strong tendency to keep thinking about what-ifs, constantly picturing the worst-case scenarios and expecting problems that might not happen. That's what overthinking is all about. The mind's need to control the unknown. It makes you anxious by making imagined events into overblown fears. At age 50, you know how unpredictable life is and how much energy you waste thinking about things that don't happen. You can't control the future, no matter how hard you try to guess or get ready for it. You're most likely to feel stressed when you're trying to hold on to a future that hasn't happened yet. Making plans and getting ready are important, but planning for the future is not the same as being obsessed with it. People who feel anxious tend to try to control events they can't possibly know about. When you think too much about the future, you're not getting ready for it. You're making up a story in your head that drains your energy and takes your attention away from the present. Stoics knew that we can only control what we do and how we respond, but not what will happen in the future. You could leave life right now, Marcus Aurelius said in a smart way. That should shape what you do, say, and think. Focus on the here and now instead of worrying about the future, which might not turn out the way you think it will. No matter what comes your way, trust yourself enough to handle it, whether it's a storm or calm seas. When you overthink, you constantly question your choices, think about what might happen, and get stuck in imagined situations. Things get worse and less manageable the more you do this. Accepting this is the key to getting past it. Don't worry about the future, it's not in your hands. Once you accept this, you can stop worrying about things that don't matter and focus on what you can change. Your thoughts, your deeds, and how you show up today. If you stop worrying about the future too much, you'll feel better. Believe in your ability to change and handle any problems that come up. 50 years of life experience has given you a lot of wisdom. Remind yourself that you've been through hard times before and come out better. Let go of the need to know what will happen next and focus on what you can control right now. Lesson number 8. Daily stillness is non-negotiable. Marcus Aurelius did something called stilling the mind. Every day, he would sit alone in silence to think and get his ideas back under control. It wasn't just a nice to have for him, it was a must. Our minds rarely get a chance to rest in today's world, where emails, news messages, social media updates, and other constant distractions are all around us. It's no surprise that we're stressed. We live in a world with a lot of information, which keeps our minds busy and on edge all the time. But here's the thing. If your mind is always racing, you can't find peace or understanding inside. A lot of noise and distractions can make anxiety worse. For it to grow, you have to keep doing things with it. What's the cure? Every day, silence. It's not enough to just take a break. You need to make time in your day to unplug from the chaos and connect with yourself. Giving your mind time to reset is important for staying calm and clear, whether it's through deep breathing, meditation, or just sitting in silence with a coffee. Being still is the key to mental toughness. It lets you be aware of your thoughts without judging them. Work through your feelings without getting too upset about them, and find peace when things are unsure. You can block out the noise of the world and connect with yourself better when you take a few minutes every day to just breathe. You can start over and get your power back during that time. When worry starts to set in, it's usually because your mind is too busy with outside things. You give your mind a chance to get back to balance by committing to daily silence. You start to understand that you are not your thoughts when you are still. You are the one watching. You don't have to let fear and worry carry you away. You can choose how to react. You will become stronger the more you practice being still. Being still every day is an important part of living a peaceful life that can't be skipped. This habit needs to become as normal as brushing your teeth if you want to get rid of worry. It's not about running away from truth. It's about getting your mind ready to face it calmly and clearly. Lesson number 9. Focus on what you can give. When you are preoccupied with worrying about your future, your issues, and your regrets, you are more likely to experience anxiety. It is simple to become mired in this unending cycle, which causes you to spiral inward and magnify your anxieties. How can one get out of that loop in the shortest amount of time? Donate. It was a habit for Marcus Aurelius to remind himself to perform acts of service to other people. He was well aware that giving an excessive amount of attention to oneself just serves to amplify one's own fears. The moment, however, that you turn your attention away from yourself and toward other people, your own concerns start to recede into the background. Giving, whether it be your time, your expertise, or your kindness, turns your emphasis from the problems you are experiencing on the inside to the contributions you are making to the outside world. The goal is not to give up your own requirements. Rather, it is to discover a sense of fulfillment by assisting other people. The act of giving, whether it be through mentoring, charitable contributions, or even just acts of kindness, gives your life a sense of purpose and significance. And having a sense of purpose is a potent painkiller for anxiety. When one is actively working to improve the lives of another person, even in a small degree, it is difficult to let dread and concern to fill one's thoughts. When you make a contribution, your perspective switches from one of scarcity to one of abundance. They go from "what do I lack" to "how can I help?" And the force of anxiety is diminished as a result of this shift in attention. At the age of 50, you have amassed a wealth of knowledge and experience, both of which might be of use to other people. Your ability to impart your expertise or lend an attentive ear not only benefits the people in your immediate vicinity, but it also has the potential to enhance your own life. When you contribute without expecting anything in return, you get a profound feeling of fulfillment because you are aware that you are making a difference in the world. A sense of purpose is the antidote to the restlessness that causes anxiety, and a sense of purpose is created via the act of contributing. As you put more of your attention on giving, you will notice that your personal issues seem to diminish. Anxiety releases its hold on you when you shift your attention away from yourself and instead direct your efforts into assisting other people. You no longer have the sensation of being ensnared by your personal concerns because you have discovered a greater purpose: to be of service, to make a contribution, and to have a beneficial influence on the world that surrounds you. At the end of the day, the ultimate measures of riches are not the things that you amass in your life, but rather the things that you give away. Lesson number 10. Accept that you are enough. You don't have to show anything to anyone after age 50. Whatever you've done well, what you've failed at, and what you've learned all make you who you are today. Every step of your journey has made you who you are today. The good times, the bad times, and the times when you doubted yourself. And worry goes away when you really believe this and accept yourself just the way you are. Anxiety comes from wanting approval from other people, which gets worse as we age. Seeking approval from others makes you feel unstable all the time. Whether you're trying to meet societal standards, please family or friends, or chase external signs of success. No matter how much you do, you start to feel like you're never quite enough. However, the truth is that you will find peace again when you stop looking for approval from other people. Many things have happened in your life, and each one has made you stronger, smarter, and more complete. Epictetus and the other Stoics stressed how important it was to know that we are enough just the way we are. He stated, "Having few wants is what wealth is, not having many things." Even more so when it comes to self-worth. As soon as you realize you're good enough on your own, you no longer feel the need to prove yourself all the time. Accept yourself as you are. Take charge of your life, good times and bad. Stop trying to be perfect and start loving the person you've become. People often want to be or do more because they are afraid they are not enough. But now that I'm 50, I need to stop chasing that dream. You are enough just the way you are, not your past mistakes or your hopes for the future. Anxiety loses its power over you when you accept this truth. You stop comparing your trip to someone else's or judging your worth by what other people think. Rather, you are sure of the fact that you are whole and complete. You've had a full and important life, and that's enough. When you finally accept this, you'll feel free from the need to be liked, to be perfect, and to keep trying your best. And when you accept that, you find peace. Anxiety doesn't go away right away, but it gets weaker when you stop giving it fuel. They are all tools that you can use to fight the thoughts that want to take over your life. But it's not enough to just know them. You have to live them. If this video changed the way you think about something, please click the subscribe button. We're just getting started on this trip, so don't stop here.